First diver will be Megan. She'll be doing an inward dive in the tuck position. Judges give her 4, 5, and 3. She twisted a little bit in the entry, which is why she got the 3. There was also a clear, clean entry, which is why she got the 5. Another in. She got 6, 6.5, 6.5, 7.5. She got these good scores because she took it up, got a very nice tight pike, and then did a very clean entry. Six, 6.5. Five, 5.5 for his takeoff. A nice somersault, but a little bit of twist in there. 3.5, 2.5, and 2.5 for his scores. The reason is for the twist. She almost made it to a quarter of a twist. If she goes past a quarter of a twist, it is a failed dive. And this is an inward somersault. She just learned this week. It's very good. 4, 5, 4.5 for her scores. She made it around, so she landed slightly on her feet, but she didn't have time to all the way pop out. Our next dive will be a back dive in the layout position by the freshman from the Norristown team. It was a nice straight back dive. He was a little long because he took off going backwards instead of straight up. 4, 3 scores. The low scores was because of how far out he was. He was about 4.5, 5 feet out, which is way too far. While the 5 was for the fact that he stayed in a nice straight line and he started to set the dive. This is a nice inward somersault. Got all the way around, came out of it nice and straight. 5, 4.5, 5.5 for his scores because he took it straight back instead of going up nice and high. This is a front dive pike. Her hurdle was a foot back from the board, which didn't help and shot her out really far. She also threw her legs out at the end, which caused them to fly over. And this is a front dive pike, or tuck. Got up nicely. Her scores are 4.5, 4, 4 and 1/2. Her nice entry was nice and vertical, though it was heavy because she wasn't completely straight. Twister. Front double in the pike position. This is the girl from Wissahickon. Her scores 5.5, 5.5, 6.5. She made that around nicely, though she was long because when she came out, instead of popping out nice and straight, she kicked out all the way. Back somersault in the layout position. His scores are 4, 5.5, 6. His layout position was very straight and very nice. He had a slight twist in the middle of the dive, which is probably why he got the 4.5. But otherwise, it was a very nice dive with a good entry. This is 8.5 in the tuck position. His scores are 4, 3.5, 4. He got okay height on the dive, nice good tuck, and then he popped out with his arms and upper body first, leaving his legs long in the end. This is a front somersault in the tuck position. Her scores are 4, 4, and 5. She had a nice good tuck at the beginning and came out early. She will soon be moving on to a front 1.5 with a dive like that. Front somersault in the tuck position again. This time her toes are hanging off the edge of the board, which caused her hurdle to be bad. But she still was able to get the dive around and have a nice entry, though. She did come out really early for the somersault. Next diver from Wissahickon will be doing a front 2.5. She got nice spin on that, and she got 5s on that, and 1 4.5. She did not come out at all until she hit the water, and then she came out nice and strong, but then it was too late, which is why she rolled onto her back. Front 1.5, taken right off the board, which is why she seems close to the board. Good dive. She could have hopped out a little stronger, would have made a nice straight entry. Front 1.5 tuck. His hurdle was okay. He was back a foot from the board, but he got a nice jump off of it. He got 5, 5.5, 5.5 off of that. His scores, and he had a very nice entry on the end. This is a front 1.5 tuck. You got nice height on that. 5, 5.5, 6 for his scores. This is also a front 1.5 tuck. He got much higher than the last skydiver did, but this time he was not able to control her instead of coming in for a nice straight entry. Giving him 4, 4.5 for his score. Front dive with a half twist just happened in the straight position. She jumped up and straight out. She got 2.5, 2 for her scores. She went way over and was facing us instead of the other side of the pool, which is where she was supposed to land. Again, we'll be watching a front dive with a half twist in the layout position. This is much better in terms of throwing it all around. She's able to get it to the other side of the board, but her pike in the middle at 3.5, and the overall long dive. Back dive layout. Nice high dive with a set right in the middle. Looks like she got 7, 7.5. And it's a very nice straight entry like that. She did arch her back over a little bit to get it around, but straightened out again. This is a reverse somersault in the tuck position. She's coming off the board with her hands going forward, which is why she is out far. And for her score, she got 4, 4.5, 5, but she was able to get a nice okay entry with a little bit of splash. Nice reverse somersault right there. He got it up very high, a nice good tuck, and then comes out early. 4.5, 5, 5.5 for his scores. And he couldn't instead of all the way straight. If he waited a little longer and got a nice straight pop, he probably would have gotten 6s. There's our first double of the day. In the tuck position, that is. He got up nice and high and then stayed in it and was not able to come out in time to get a nice straight entry. So they gave him 4, 4, 4.5. Another double right there. This time with a slow spin, he was still able to make the double. Popped out a little late, causing him to land a little forward instead of just vertical. And he got 4, 4, 4.5 for that as well. And this is the I just learned this week. She just barely made. And they're going to rule it as a failed dive for landing on her back and not on her feet. Again, another inward somersault that she just learned this week. This time she was able to pull around and land on her feet. You got 3.5, 3, 2.5 for that. And as soon as she learns to stand it up, instead of going right off the board, that'll be an easy inward somersault. And this was a reverse dive tuck, which she performed very nicely. She was able to get up high into the tuck and then pop out, and which she'll get 7, 7, 7.5 for her scores. Here's another front dive with a half twist in the straight position. This time he landed short, which got him 4.5, 4.5 for his scores. Otherwise, he had a nice entry. If he just sets that and closes, he'll have a nice front dive with a half twist. Oh yeah, another front dive in the layup position with a half twist. This time he piked in the middle of the dive, which is not allowed to do, but he made it all the way around. He got 3, 3.5, 4 because of his pike. And that is the end of our diving.